Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show right now is the IREDE Foundation. TIF was established back in 2012 by Crystal Chibo to educate Nigerians on congenital and acquired limb loss, how to associate with and care for children with this kind of loss. The foundation provides free and subsidized artificial limbs for children who cannot afford them. This weekend, their flagship work will be coming up, christened Out on a Limb. Joining us on the show to speak further on this is the board secretary, Azubuike Chibu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
I was asking, like, your view used to be part of this project from the beginning. We used to support your work. I know we've done it every single year. How is it? How many years now?
It's 13 years, and we couldn't be more grateful to your view. I don't know what happened, but obviously we are here. Yeah, we are back with your view.
So tell, for those who have no idea what Out on a Limb is, let's start with what is Out on a Limb? Exactly, what's the objective?
Okay, so Out on a Limb is one of those one of the pillars of the IREDE Foundation's educate and encourage pillars, and it's centered around advocacy and awareness, you know, to the society on just making sure that we find pathways for inclusion for persons with disabilities, especially children. That is our main focus for, you know, what we do in the IREDE Foundation. And then it's just one, raise awareness; two, battle stigma, and then three, try to raise funds, and then just also give these children a sense of being part of the society. It's a 2-kilometer walk, a very short walk that happens globally. In Nigeria, actually, this year we're targeting to have 10,000 people come out, you know, walking across the 36 states of the Federation. So right now we're trying to do a mobilization, get, you know, people we call lead advocates and all to be, and then just pushing for people to register. And the idea for us is if you can find 10, 15 people, wherever you are, come out
do the work.
and do the work, yeah.
So I know that you had one last year, the 1024 edition. Can you walk us through the major highlights from that walk last year?
So the walk last year, I think I tried to remember the theme for last year, but part of what we did last year, that was actually where this idea came up to try to, because we saw pockets of people reaching out to us from across the globe. And interestingly, we kind of have now participation from the US and then from Europe. So that's where it spread, because mainly we used to focus on Nigeria, you know, and not very much on what happens on the international scene. But last year we also were pushing to get, I think, 300 children, limbs for 300 children and all that. So those are some of the things that we try to do.
This is really interesting, fantastic job so far. So, but I'm interested to know the backstory, the history, like what actually bettered this foundation, this amazing foundation.
Okay, so usually my wife does this. So this came out of a personal story, right? So my daughter, who is now a teenager here, she's now at that age where we cannot say how old she is. Well, some of you on this you know, so she was born with a congenital issue where I think the medical term is tibia hemimelemia, where she was born without her tibia, and her kneecap was also missing. But it was the most difficult time of my life, you know. And you know how it goes when she was born. People said all sorts of things, you know. Family said that is not in our family. All those things, and those are the things that you know, go and meet bone setter, go and meet prayer man, prayer woman, the local people, all of that, you know, all sorts of suggestions came into being. So, but ultimately we had to come to terms with the fact that this is what we have to deal with, and sought medical and orthopedic support, and they told us, look, in fact, what made the decision for me was I had an orthopedic doctor. He's the president of he's a very senior orthopedic doctor who came in from the US, and he asked me one question. he said, would you rather walk your daughter down the aisle or have her on a wheelchair on her wedding day? And I said, sure, no father wants to be pushing the child on a wheelchair. So I'm like, I'd like to walk her down the aisle. And he was like, this is your pathway to it. So the decision was made. So, but in the process of our process, thank God we had, and then this is kudos to Nigerian orthopedic system, because whereas we were given bills of, multiple thousands, in the US, it was basically the same process that we were going to do here in Nigeria. So ultimately we went to the orthopedic hospital in Enugu, and they did a perfect, wonderful job, amazing job they did there. And then, but in the process of our healing, sometimes you live in this bubble, you don't know, because you're so wrapped up in your pain, you don't see another person's side of it. So in that process, we now saw myriads of children with the same situation.
So in 13 years of IREDE Foundation, how many limbs have you given to children?
So over 600.
Wow.
Yeah. Over 600.
That's huge. That's impact.
That's huge.
Yeah, over 600 limbs. So far, and then
you have to replace them, because as they're growing older, the kids are growing, so you have to keep replacing the limbs.
Exactly, that's correct.
Wow.
And then it's birthed so many things, like we now have the Radiance comic that we're using to reach out to children in schools and all of that, to further expand the landscape of stigma management and all that.
So I have my question. For me, I feel that this is so important. I'm inspired by Pain to Purpose story, where people go through something personal and decide to be selfless, you know, and reach out to others. So this is amazing. Congratulations on the successes so far.
Thank you.
But aside, when you do the works, how do you raise the funds, and how do you get the support? And how can somebody watching now be inspired, as inspired as they are, support the initiative to get more limbs out? Yeah,
so the first thing is, whoever is watching now needs to, just go on our website, IREDEFoundation.org, out on a limb, .com or .org or something, and then register for the walk. Let us know your location. Follow us on socials, and you ask about how we raise the funds. So it is actually, we have these T-shirts, and people give towards producing these T-shirts, and occasionally we have organizations that come along and sponsor them, so, and it's actually like a mass effort, I want to gift one person, provide one person a T-shirt for the walk, and that's actually how
So for the walk on that's coming up this weekend, so once you register, you then show up. And where's the walk from what point to what point? So
for Lagos, we have different locations across the country. So for Lagos, our primary takeoff point is YMCA. And we walk to Falomo Bridge.
YMCA in Ikoyi?
Yeah, YMCA in Ikoyi. And then we take a turn, and then we return back to YMCA. So it's that 2-kilometer walk, because we have children also on that in that process. Some of them also children living with limb loss. And
so let's just talk about a bit of on the emotional part of it. Let's talk about the impact that this has had so far, because the kids, to a large extent, are the recipients of all of this help and support. So how have you seen over the course of 13 years? Maybe you can share a human angle story with us, if anyone comes to mind.
Oh yeah, there are multiple, honestly. There are multiple.
That resonates really well with
you. So 2 actually, a couple of them. And nothing beats the smile you see on the face of a child when they receive, when they are able to take that step. So, one of the first cases that made us have this decision was a child we met in Enugu. It was called to our attention. That's actually what birthed it. She was a double amputee.
How old was she at the time?
She was a baby, literally 1. Wow. Yeah. The sad part of that story is, at some point, the mental strain. The mom could not take it anymore and paid the ultimate price. But she's soldiered on with her dad. Right now, I think she's going to university, and we've been there, you know.
Supporting her from the beginning.
Yes, from the beginning. So because apart from limbs, at some point we had to take a decision that, look, it doesn't do to just give the limbs. So some of them we have had to come into education also to provide scholarships, you know. And right now we have over 40 children in scholarships. I think 3 of them are in university, have made it to the university right now. We have another one. This one is dear to my heart. I think her mom, for some reason, I think they were going to take, she was rushing to school, you know, and somehow they got on a bike or something, and one of those things happened, and against that's, you know, and you know how a mother tries to beat herself, but we stepped in, and today she's grown, and till tomorrow all these children come for the walk, and she has the most lively personality of spirits that you could ever imagine, you know. We had another one. Unfortunately, this one was quite sad because we couldn't help at that point. After she got her limb, she lost out to cancer. Yeah.
But let's talk, because we have to wrap up with you very soon.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to what Chika said, the human angle, how does this make you feel? Because 600 limbs out there, do you have that? Do you feel that you've done something? I mean, how gratifying is it for you?
It is gratifying. However, it's just that the story keeps expanding, you know, because the more you do, the more you see where the need, you know. This year, we have 400 children, 400 limbs waiting.
Wow.
You know. And it's been heightened a bit by the security events in the country, you know, where children have been impacted by some of these crises. So we have to, there are challenges because you have to go to the north and all of those places where, and remote areas where you have this. So you hardly can catch a breath to celebrate because you see the next one.
We're wishing you the best. So the walk is this weekend?
On the 12th.
On the 12th of April.
Yes, next weekend.
I thought it was this weekend.
No.
Starts what time?
It starts from 7 a.m. Because we want to, before the sun comes out. So 7 a.m. And
to get more information on your website.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
That's all we can take on this segment. Today is our health day, so we're discussing health. When we come back, we're bringing our doctor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, Shaba, come and take your.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.